Welcome everyone. Happy Moon Day Monday night. It's nighttime Astro Live and we're here gathering together to talk about what's going on in the cosmos this week, tonight especially. So I've got some wonderful things to share with you. We're going to break it down. We're going to look at the charts. So I'm going to also be appearing on Wednesday, I believe Wednesday or Thursday. I will let you know. But Mondays, I like to go live. It's very fun. It's a great way to start our week. And if you're watching live, definitely comment. Let me know you're here. If you have any questions, if you're watching this on YouTube or you would like to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Lunar Ladies, go ahead and go there. Click subscribe, click the bell to get notifications. And of course, leave your comments so I can answer your questions. Okay, if you're new to Lunar Ladies, I'm Shannon. I'm the host of Lunar Ladies, owner and operator, plus the host of Nighttime Astro Live. Hey, let's do it. Let's break it down. What's going on? It's so funny. I was just thinking, you know, I've been watching, I have a couple of really favorite YouTube personalities, and I watch them a lot. Kind of like my sometimes my morning routine, and I realize I catch myself like talking like them, and it's one of the habits of a Gemini rising. You tend to mirror people and even sound like them. So if you are one of the people that I watch on YouTube and you happen to catch my YouTube videos and you might recognize yourself, it's just my Gemini rising. So it's a compliment. It's I have a fine art of mimicry. Just born that way. Okay, so what are we talking about tonight? Well, we're getting ready for two major astrological alignments. I posted about the Sun opposite Pluto. So last week when we had the super full moon in Capricorn, we had the moon, the super full moon conjunct Pluto and the Sun on the other side. Well, now the moon has moved on and it's in the sign of Aries, conjuncting with Eris, the goddess of discord, strife, the sister of Aries. So she's that female warrior goddess. Mythologically, she's the goddess that threw the apple in the room during Paris' wedding and wanted to know, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all. Wanted to start a big old fight because she didn't get invited to the wedding. Now, if you watch Disney movies, Eris is beautifully portrayed in some ways by Angelina Jolie as Maleficent. That's an Aries vibe. Okay, so the moon is in a third quarter phase, right? And it's coming into alignment with Eris, the goddess of discord that throws the golden apple into your life and says, let's change things up here. You need something changed? I'm the goddess for you. Right, so we have the moon in Aries. It's all about yourself. Who are you? Your physical body, your vitality. What needs to change in your divine I am presence, in your physicality and vitality and life force? What needs to shift? Eris will help you see what it is and give you the drive, the impetus to do it. Now, she's in a T-square with the moon to Pluto and the Sun. Now, Pluto has stayed with the Sun. Now they're in full opposition, and this is part 2 of the super full moon. So now Pluto's energy, or her wave, or his wave of electromagnetic frequency, is aligning and merging, creating an octave with the Sun. So Pluto moves into that super full moon position, the Sun shining light from Cancer. The Earth is in Capricorn at this time. So we're getting a full moon Pluto, a full Pluto moon. We kind of got a taste of it last week on the super full moon on the 13th of July. So now here we are moving towards the 19th tomorrow when it goes full on exact opposition. And so you're gonna get a repeat, but it's gonna be without the moon anymore. It's gonna be with Pluto. And some of you may be going, well, what's Pluto all about? What does that mean? Well, Pluto is the gatekeeper or the gateway to soul, your soul's energy, the part of you that's been incarnating on this planet for most of you, probably a long time. Been around the block a couple times, old souls. And it's where we step into the energy or the awareness for our own soul's evolution. So we look to our Pluto sign, degree, and house in our natal chart, and we see, okay, my soul is here at an evolutionary standpoint. This incarnation wants to take a step. Where is it stepping towards? And that will be found in the Pluto polarity point, meaning the exact opposite of your natal Pluto. So example, I was born with Pluto at 20 degrees Virgo. So my stepping towards, or my evolutionary point for me, is found at 20 degrees Pisces. So when I move my awareness, my frequency, my soul's vibration to that 20th degree of Pisces, I am making a quantum leap in my soul's journey for this lifetime. So that's kind of our goal. And we use that as a stepping point when we work with your lunar nodes. So then you find your Pluto and the opposite. So it's your evolutionary kind of frequency wavelength that you want to be right in this lifetime. And then you go and look, where's your nodal wave, meaning your north and south node. That's the undoing, the breaking of patterns, and then the evolutionary step forward into new territory, new adventure. And that's done in harmony with the Pluto energy. So that's what I help you recognize, understand, and put into action when you do the Soul Purpose series. So I have some wonderful clients right now in the series, and one's ready to step through the veil, one is just getting started. So you can go to my website, lunarladies.com, under offerings to find out more about the Soul Purpose journey. It's a series of 4 readings. We go deep, we go into past lives, we go into the present time, we unwind, we get our wings on our feet so we can take that quantum leap into the energy that we need to embody to fulfill our soul's purpose. Now, talking about the sun opposite Pluto, Pluto's over here at 27 degrees Capricorn. Its polarity point is being emblazed or infused, activated by the sun. So this is where you can look at it in your own chart, your own natal Pluto journey, but then we can look at the current Pluto journey that's happening right now, and we can tune into this beautiful wave that's happening throughout our collective here on the earth. Now, it's beautiful because the earth is now with Pluto, as this earth's always moving opposite the sun. So as the sun moves out of Cancer, goes to Leo, the earth will move into Aquarius. So we're in a really powerful time to take a collective step in our collective evolution, right? So let's do it. Now here, if you live in America, United States, we're at the natal Pluto degree, where this is a place where the country, the soul of this nation, is ready to take a quantum leap into 27 degrees Cancer, right? We've got to go to Cancer. Do not stop, or, don't pass, go to the 27th degree of Cancer. And it's a really interesting Sabian symbol. I wrote about it, when I share my screen, I wrote about this at winter solstice in 2021, because we had all these 27 degrees of I believe it was full moons, right? So we had a Aquarius full moon, we had a Capricorn or Cancer full moon, we had a Leo full moon in the winter. So we were embodying this 27th degree at a really empowered level as we began this year. So now we can take a look back. Hey, what's been happening since January? Where are we? Where are you in your life? Where are you as a part of the collective? And so the Sabian symbol is an image of a modern day quote unquote Pocahontas, meaning a female indigenous superwoman. And especially when we look at United States of America, indigenous know this land as Turtle Island, meaning all of the North American continent. It is, which includes Canada and Mexico, right? This North American continent and the Latin Central American countries. So we look to the Indigenous people, especially Indigenous women of Canada, Alaska, the Aleutian Islands, United States, all the Indigenous people here, and the women. We go into Mexico, Central America, Latin America, all on the northern continent, and we want to be scanning who are the leaders now of the Indigenous women. And so in winter solstice last year, I had written about this beautiful Indigenous woman, a young woman. She was on the the cover of Vogue from the Mexico edition. And I won't try to say her name because I don't want to mispronounce, because it's a very beautiful name. But she's this 18-year-old, amazing, beautiful supermodel. And I just looked at her because she has her Indigenous facial tattoos, and she's bringing it back, bringing like the fullness, the richness, the realness, the authenticity back. She's like lighting it back on fire with her love for who she is, her ancestors, her people, her ways. And it's a beautiful emblem that we can look at and go, wow, we need to reconnect to that. And it's interesting when we look at the United States of America with the 1776 birthday, what was happening in this country but an invasion of the Native people and a genocide in some ways. It was going to lead to the genocide. But we really need to now focus our lens back in, especially in regards to the United States, to the Indigenous people of this country. Right? And I love that with the Sun opposition Pluto, to take that evolutionary step, we're moving towards this beautiful energy of the modern day Pocahontas. And so this Sapien symbol says, life is about change. And how you embody that change is you learn how to adjust. So let me share my screen because I just found this so interesting. And hi, June, welcome. It's so nice to see you here. Yes, so I just want to share with you, here, we'll go into the charts in just a moment, but if you go to my website, lunarladies.com, and go to the blog, and you click on December 2021, and I'm focusing on Climate Warrior, Land Protector model, Quina Chasing Horse. Now, I don't know if I said your name correctly, but I would love to make sure I know how to say it. So if anybody knows and can help me, please do. But here she is, this amazing, beautiful woman, literally, in some ways, a modern day, quote unquote, Pocahontas. Now, this symbol, the languaging is from the 1920s, so forgive any type of, offensive languaging. But she is reemerging the Native people by redefining and bringing forth her true beauty of her people, of who she is, this soul that has taken this form. And wow, Indigenous model, Quina Chasing Horse. I just really love her. And of course, she has her facial tattoos that are part of her culture, her tribe, her people. She has her native cultural dress and jewelry. So I really, when I think of this symbol, I think of her as a beautiful modern day emblem of someone we can look to recapture, reconnect to the beauty, to the power, of this feminine Indigenous woman. Now, of course, there are many Indigenous women all around. They don't have to be an 18-year-old supermodel, but I just really appreciated how much she is standing in her power. Okay, and we have the 13 grandmothers that gather and do beautiful wisdom teachings and healings. So I want to hear from you, like, who are your modern day Indigenous women leaders that you love? Now, I know in the United States of America, I believe it's the Department of the Interior. Is it Interior? Indian Affairs? Or the Bureau of Indian Affairs? But the first Indigenous woman and cabinet member and senator. So we want to look to them as well as people who are our future. So this Indigenous divine feminine wisdom is where this particular collective evolutionary step is moving towards. And so how do we embody the energy of this degree is contemplate that life is about change. And really, when you look at that from a sound healing perspective, the universe is dynamic, meaning it is always in motion. Waves, particles, atoms hitting each other, reacting and merging and joining. Like, the universe is not a static place. It is not still, right? It is constantly moving. So this indigenous wisdom is saying, hey, life is change. Life is about change. How do you merge, flow, embody, align with the truth that life is change? Is you learn how to adjust, refine, go with the flow, let things go, forgive, pardon. So I'm going to break down the chart because there's a lot of wisdom with this alignment that's happening tomorrow at 6:38 p.m. But first, before we get there, we'll say thank you, Quinat, Chasing Horse. I love you. You're amazing. Thank you for shining your light in the world. Let's go to the first alignment that happens tomorrow. And this is Chiron going retrograde. Did any of you know this was coming? Chiron. Who's Chiron? Chiron is our wounded healer. Chiron is the key. It looks like a key in your chart. It is this K with a circle. So Chiron currently is at 16 degrees Aries and going retrograde through the early December. So Chiron joins the club of the retrograde planetary bodies. We've got Pluto retrograde, Saturn retrograde. We have Neptune retrograde. We have, I think that's it, Vesta and Chariklo as our asteroid bodies are moving in a, going around that elliptical turn, meaning they're slowing down and it looks like they're going backwards. So for us, it means it's a time of review. So Chiron is 16 degrees here. And look where the moon is. And this is happening tomorrow morning, California time, 6:27. And I thought it was really interesting that Pluto and the sun merge into their opposition at 6:38 p.m. So it's a 12-hour difference. So one sunrise and one sunset in some ways. So that's also very interesting. Now, the moment that Chiron goes retrograde here in California, Mercury is rising and moving from Cancer to Leo. So Mercury says, hold on, brother, Chiron, you're a fire sign in Aries. I'm going to join you and support you because I'm moving into Leo. So I'm going to be sending you spiritual fire energy for this journey. Isn't that nice? So Mercury becomes part of the support. But for Chiron, we have the moon is conjunct Chiron. What was the super moon doing a couple days ago at the full moon? It was conjunct Pluto. So this moon is saying, hey, I'm starting new cycles at your core root around, where's your soul at right now? Is it in evolution going forward, or is it in review, learning, or is it just not aware at all and moving backwards and de-evolving? We got to find out. And all of them, no judgment, are fine. If you're in a de-evolutionary phase, that's okay. Catch yourself from the free fall and go, wait a sec, time out, stop the merry-go-round, I want to get off. I need to take a self-inventory. If you are currently in self-inventory at a standstill and in this place of review, awesome. Check back in. Where am I at? Am I ready to move forward? What else do I need? If I need more forgiveness, self-love, letting go, just check it out. Say hello to your energy. Or if you're already wow, I let go of a lot, I've had some major breakthroughs, I'm moving forward, that's also a great place to come into your deeper awareness because Pluto is excavating the bones. Saturn or Capricorn is about the skeletal system. Now, I was just, Kelly Kessler and I, Shaman KK, we emailed today because I had a birthday shaman healing with her, and a lot of stuff came up about bones and all this whoa, it's about the bones, right? And so today I read in Energetic Synthesis in her newsletter talking about how things are happening with our bones from these plasmic solar activations from the flares and the comets. If you have any bone issues, meaning like, oh, I've got some bone pain or bone marrow, or like me, I twisted my ankle last week. So, there's things happening at the cellular level in our bones that are shifting and changing to hold more light. So sometimes when we're making a breakthrough, or there's debris there or blockages, something will happen to get our attention to say, hey, slow down. Like for me, watch where you're going. What are you doing with your energy? Like, check in. And I was like, oh boy, that was a good check-in for me. So the moon is in a waning phase. It's not at the super full moon phase. It's in the waning phase, and it's contacting Chiron at the retrograde moment. So the moon is saying, okay, I know it's a little bit hard to get this, frustrating energy of Aries within the wound, meaning who is crossing your power, taking your power away? What's going on there? Like, are you getting your boundaries crossed? Or do you feel like, where do you have frustration in your life? Because when Chiron is in Aries at 16 degrees, he is about this energy. We talked about it last week, those two spinster sisters on the porch. And they could be a little like, this is bad and this is bad, and I don't like this and I don't like that. Right? But when we listen to that inner kind of kind of cranky person within that's kind of like going, I don't like this. What we're learning is, okay, why don't I like that? I need to be true to myself. So Chiron is taking you on a journey around establishing healthy boundaries with yourself, your energy, and other people, right? Because Aries, what's the flip side? Libra, one-to-one relationships. So let's go into the polarity of Libra, because this is where Chiron is getting its balance point for the journey. So the balance point is, again, that retired sea captain. So we've got the two older ladies who are kind of a little cranky, spinsters. And then they're on the porch with the retired sea captain that says, hey, ladies, right? Or hey, inner feminine. I know things aren't that great. Like even me and Linda were texting and we were like, oh my God, I can't take this thing that's happening in our collective. It just really bothers me, And so we were being in that moment, the two spinsters going, ah, and we got to let that elder masculine energy that says, okay, it sounds like we need some more relaxation. We need some more joy. We need to contemplate. So that's how you're going to experience this Chironic retrograde journey, is through relaxation and contemplation and learning what you need to be true to yourself. Now, the moon is here saying, I'm nourishing your root, how you embody and connect to the earth and this physical body, this physical world. I want to nourish that. And so the Aries moon said it's like a rebirthing of the inner child. And so at 14 degrees Aries, the energy is about, how we had the modern day Pocahontas, where we're evolving towards. Here we have an indigenous person weaving a blanket. Okay, so we've got the elder parts of us sitting on the porch, talking, discussing, learning, becoming more into deeper awareness, learning how to relax too. But now a beautiful indigenous person shows up with the artisan crafts made from the hands and the natural textiles and fibers. And so the indigenous woman with the blanket says, sanctify, make sacred the ordinary things in your life, the little things, the simple things, because this shows what great personal wisdom you have within you, because these are what you focus on, the ordinary things. It's like taking the ordinary and making it extraordinary by acknowledging its sacred nature, right? This is going to lead you to greater wisdom and greater harmony. All right, so now I just love that we have this kind of elder crone energy that says retire, relax, be true to yourself. What do you need? Look at the ordinary, the things that happen in your life every day, these things we probably take for granted, and really look at it as, you know, what can you learn from this as a sacred experience? So we take the ordinary, make it extraordinary by looking at it as a sacred thing. Okay, so that's the journey that we're getting nourished by here. Now, because Aries is ruled by Mars, I want to say hi to Mars, because Mars is going to kick in. He's going to kick up the energy at the end of July, August 1st, because he's going to merge with Chiron, or Uranus, and the North Node, opposite the South Node of Pluto, which is going to bring forth the Pluto energy. Okay, so at the Chironic retrograde, Mars wants you to know this. And Mars is your inner masculine, it's your drive, it's your fearlessness, your courage. And so Mars is here showing up as a Red Cross nurse. Picture Mars and the nurse's Halloween outfit. Right? But it's kind of like a Florence Nightingale energy. Again, symbolizing wellness, health, nursing you back to health. And Mars is saying, okay, you got Chiron, you got the moon, you got the polarity points, you got Pluto and the sun. But I'm showing you that the mystery of who you really are, it reveals itself to you when you go into service of others. So this is why the sea captain is saying, hey, relax. Take care of yourself, come into it. And the spinsters are saying, how do you be true to yourself? Like, take a moment, take some stock. The moon is saying, let me nourish you at your core, right? Let me nourish you at your core, and, you know, make the everyday reality sacred. And Mars says, okay, I'm really going to nourish the Taurus energy within you, meaning how do you feel safe and secure in your life right now, and feeling your worth and your value. He says that the mystery of who you are is, it reveals itself when you feel that heart's call to be of service to others. And it could be to animals, to plants, to the air, to people, to causes. What are you in service to? So this is, again, what Chiron is helping you reconnect to. How do I show up and be of service? Now, when Mars is in Taurus, he's kind of like a volunteer. Where do you want to volunteer? How do you want to show up in the world? And it could be like, I'll pick up litter. If I see garbage on the ground, I'm going to pick it up. Or I'm going to teach my children to take care of the earth. Or maybe I do want to like volunteer at a food bank or a clinic or something. Who knows? Let it speak to you. It's going to come from this more nourished place and from a place of relaxation. Now, the moon will move into the sign of Taurus on the 20th, so in 2 days. And the moon's going to cross over Mars, and it's going to give all this nourishing energy. And when the moon is in Taurus, it's exalted. So just watch out that June 20th through the 27th, as we move towards the new moon in Leo, and the moon returns to Cancer in its balsamic phase, meaning it's the keeper of memories, the ancestors. Tune into, you know, the ancestral wisdom of the earth. Be exalted by that. Be blessed. Say hi to the trees, the elders of your land, of the native plants, the native wildlife. Say hello. The native, know what indigenous tribes lived in the area that you live in. Hopefully they're still there, but maybe they've disappeared or been relocated in the last 250 years. And if that is so, then say hello to their spirits as this week flows towards the new moon in Leo. Okay, so that's the major thing about the Chironic retrograde. We'll revisit this because it's going to be retrograde for the next 5 months as we move to December, the end of the year. But Mercury wants to help whisper into your ear and lend its support as it moves through the sign of Leo, nourishing the space before the new moon comes on the 28th. And then on the 31st, we have this big Mars conjunction with Uranus. It's pretty intense. So we want to already be grounded. We already want to be in a state of relaxation, nourishing our chironic wounds, meaning where do we need to heal, right? At our base core self, Aries. Okay, so if you have questions about the Chiron retrograde, feel free to make comments and I will check them out and hopefully provide an answer. Or if you want to do a reading about your Chiron return, you can set up over here on my website. You go to offerings, and you can do either, if you had a reading with me, you can do a new client session, or you can do a returning client session, meaning I already have your chart. We've already done work together. You might have been Lunar Ladies Club, the Inner Circle, or maybe I've read your chart before. You're welcome to do a returning client one-to-one session, and that's how you find where they are on my website to purchase. Okay, so let's go into 12 hours later. This is all happening tomorrow. 12 hours later, the Sun and Pluto go exactly opposite. And this is going to be felt most strongly probably in the United States because it's our Pluto return degree of the natal chart of the current United States government. All right, so here we are at 6:39 p.m. So now we've had a whole day of the Chironic retrograde energy. So now here's Pluto, 27 degrees, 21 minutes, and the Sun finally moved to the 27th degree and the 21st minute. So we have an exact opposition, an octave, an Om vibration happening. Okay, so now what can we learn from this chart? So notice how much it's changed. Most of the planetary activity was on the top of the chart because the Sun is now on the other side, moving towards sunset. And then a lot of our planetary bodies are below the horizon line, meaning they're underneath the Earth, moving towards rising later the next day. Okay, so here's the Sun. Now notice it's in a conjunction with the largest asteroid known as Ceres, Divine Mother. So she's like, I'm taking over for the moon right now because Big Mama's home to help you take this evolutionary step. It's also this indigenous, divine, feminine energy that the modern day Pocahontas the Sun is embodying right now. So we have a series like the white buffalo calf woman, like these kind of corn pollen goddess, corn pollen woman, or all the indigenous female goddesses are with the Sun. So if you have a favorite female goddess that is worshipped in indigenous cultures, it could be indigenous to India. It could be indigenous to North America or Latin America, Mayan goddesses like Ixchel. It could be like Oshun or Yemaya in the African Orisha religions. Or it could be in the Celtic religions, depending on what you feel most connected to in that divine mother energy. So we do have this really auspicious energy with the Sun, really pulling that native, indigenous, female wisdom power to nourish our souls. Because remember, Pluto is the gateway to soul. Here's its polarity point right there with the Sun, and Divine Mother Ceres is there with her arms open wide. So we want to like fall into those open arms of the mother. Okay, especially if you have mother healing to do. This is an energy that will help you. Now, the other thing I noticed with this particular chart is there's what's called a trapezoid. And the trapezoid is a very ancient symbol in a chart. I don't see it all the time in natal charts. I do have quite a few clients that have trapezoids. I have one. My soul sister, Kelly Kessler, has one. So we are always talking about our trapezoids because within its structure is a trap. And I like to call this a trap for light workers. But I think that's why I remembered my astrological past lives and everything that I knew to bring forth now, because I'm supposed to, it's helping me get out of this trap as a soul that's been on this planet, possibly, you know, who knows? Maybe I've come to help people get out of the trapezoid, so I got to be in one to get myself out so I can tell others how to get out. But it's a design that traps light, but there's a way out. There's always a way out. There's always a remedy. And so the trapezoid is created in this particular chart between Saturn retrograde and the moon in Eris. Now the moon is conjuncting Eris, the goddess of strife and discord, but they're in synergy. So they're helping each other. But Eris and the moon are square to the sun in Ceres. So there's it creates a block. And then your Saturn is square to the lunar nodes, meaning the unconscious past patterns that need to be broken down. And Pluto's like, I'm the modern day ruler of Scorpio. I'm really good at breaking things down. Transform. And they're in synergy too, which is very nice. But the way out of the trap is through the two yods that make up the four corners. And the first yod, and they're the green lines. The first yod is the south node in Scorpio to the moon in Eris. The second yod comes from Saturn to the sun in Ceres. And so what yods need, they need spiritual understanding to ground them in the here and now. So we remember from the Chironic retrograde chart, we have a ton of elder wise energy coming in to help us with the spiritual understanding of the ordinary ways that we live our lives. Okay, so let's break this down. So let's go to the south node, because this is Pluto is the agent of change for the south node pattern. And right now at 20 degrees, it's showing up as a soldier derelict in his duty, meaning someone's gone AWOL, which is good because we're going AWOL from this societal mainstream malaise, right? That does not in service. We're not here to live out these patterns. We're here to break free of them. So what's showing up is to break free of this pattern. We find out what the moon and Eris want us to know. And then Pluto says, well, I'm here to help when you need. Just tag team me into the wrestling match. Okay, so what the soldier is telling you, and this is repeating the sea captain, inner awareness. So the more you are aware of your inner self, inner awareness transcends societal constraints. So you did not get born right now to be mainstream. You as a soul, if you're watching this video and part of the community and like hanging out with my astrological perspectives, you are not part of the norm. You are here to break free of the norm, break the mold, smash the mirrors, like Jimi Hendrix said, smash those mirrors. Okay, so what you're learning is, hey, I need to come into more awareness and see where am I like under societal rules that don't even apply or speak or resonate with my soul. That's what Scorpio is. All about your soul. It's soul energy. And Pluto's Sabian symbol is a large aviary. And that's saying that, hey, I'm about, when you focus on the welfare of the common good, you are not only helping others, you're helping yourself because you are part of the collective common good. What was Mars saying to us this morning at 9 degrees? He was saying, you learn so much about yourself when you're in service to others, right? So Mars and Pluto are the rulers of Scorpio. Now, the North Node, remember we like our polarity points, right? The North Node says, hey, when you recognize what your values and your goals are from the soul's perspective, it points to your inner truth. And what were the spinsters doing? They want to know, what's my truth? I need to stand for my truth. So when you're there, you start anchoring in this really powerful energy, and it's a way that opens up the trap that's any force that's around you that's trapping your light, not allowing you to shine bright as a rainbow warrior on the planet right now. Now it's coming into the moon, and the moon is at 21 degrees Aries, saying, I am bringing you the garden of desire. And so the garden of desire says your vitality increases when you experience new experiences that are coming from your desires. So what are you desiring to experience? Something new needs to happen. And then Eris is saying, but make sure I'm tempering these desires, that kindness and optimism are your strategies for joy. So that's your checklist. Like, are my desires in alignment with kindness and optimism? If they are, that's your strategy for joy. So now we've already unlocked one of the locks. Let's unlock the other lock. Now we have the sun, and the sun is that modern day Pocahontas that says life has changed. You are not going to say stop to life. You know, that's flatline, no heartbeat. So we want to realize that, yes, I love that life is about change, and I'm really good at learning how to adjust to change. So this is learning how to adjust. Now that's coming in to Saturn, and Saturn is the butterfly with one side fully formed, right? So he's saying you're going to develop the other side of your wings when you learn how to adjust to the changes that are in your life. Do not grip on with the white knuckle death grip to the familiar, because it is not going to help you at this time. You are here to evolve, and that means change, right? That means change. So serenity is found when knowledge and experience are in harmony, right? So knowledge and experience are in harmony. We have to learn about that for ourselves, right? And we know that when we're true to ourselves, we find deeper levels of harmony. When we relax and enjoy and contemplate our life, we can fine tune our wisdom and our harmony. When we're like with the native woman with the blanket, we make the ordinary extraordinary, and we learn wisdom and develop and experience more harmony. So it's starting to repeat itself. So when we realize that life is change and our job really is to become warriors of adjustment, and then we realize that, you know, serenity, relaxation, peace, calm is found when knowledge and experience are in harmony. And that usually is about living your truth. So notice how everybody is here to help. The planets are conspiring for you. So this is the way that we connect with this powerful Pluto opposition of the sun. Now let's just end this with what Ceres wants you to know, because she's the big mama, mama's home, arms wide open. She wants to give you a big bear hug, mama bear hug. Now she's showing up as a golden goddess weighing twins. She's a muse. Knowledge and experience are the twin poles of existence. Has she been talking to Saturn? I think that they were whispering off in the corner of the cosmos, because they both are saying the same thing. So she's saying, okay, you know, life has changed, learn to be an adjuster, and then know that knowledge and experience are the twin poles of existence. And she's wanting to ground that knowledge and that wisdom into Saturn, who's saying, bring the truth of your experiences and your knowledge. You will know what harmony it feels like in your body, and it harmonizes your future. That's Aquarius. Saturn is the planet that is ruling the age of Aquarius and the age of Capricorn. So he sits above Uranus in this new age of Aquarius. Although Uranus is definitely there, but Saturn is a little bit, you know, has a bigger throne because he's like, I got 2 epochs to watch over. I'm so glad Uranus is here to help me with this big transition of the age of Aquarius, because it's going to set up the age of Capricorn to rebuild worlds. All right. Isn't that exciting? So that's what's going on in the cosmos tonight, right? So now what are you going to do? You're going to bring this wisdom into the dream space. You're going to contact your angels, your guides, your ancestors, ask for their love, their help, their support, and then wake up tomorrow refreshed, ready to go with this Chiron retrograde experience, like merge with that. And then by sunset, you'll be merging with the sun opposite Pluto and dancing with the divine by then. So watch this video more than once to get the downloads. If you need extra help, go to my website, lunarladies.com, click on offerings, and you can find ways to have one-to-one sessions with me. We can take a look at how this energy is showing up in your personal chart and develop a strategy for joy for you. All right. Thanks for being here, and take care, sweet dreams, and see you on Wednesday. Good night.